And we are back from the Starladder ImbaTV Season 5 LAN Finals. We have one more best of 3 of the day on day 2, and we don't need no 35-minute games, as both our first 2 series of the day go the distance, 2-1 results, averaging 50-minute games. Fnatic and Vega Squadron are going to face off in one more series for a spot in the semifinals and guaranteed DPC points. And I have with me here, I would say, the 2 foremost experts on SEA Dota in the analyst scene. I got Gods and Winner. We are going to talk about Fnatic versus Vega here. Let's start with Fnatic. This is a team that I thought when this roster was announced, I thought that they had TI top 8 kind of ceiling. They've looked a little bit shaky here recently, particularly in the first series of the day. If this team, I'm going to ask you guys the same thing I asked my panel last night. If this team is a stock, are you buying or selling?
I'm selling. I'm not sold on them lately. I mean, I would hold. I'd wait, maybe give it a bit of time if I have some. I definitely wouldn't be buying, but I think if you're a Fnatic fan, you're hoping for improvement and improvement fast because they haven't lived up to expectations. I think some players are still showing great performances here and there, but it's just shaky. I mean, the fact they're bringing in Adam for this tournament, right? They're coached to work on team cohesion or whatever it is, or try him as a stand-in, as some people are speculating he may be replacing Pi. That speaks to a lot of internal problems going on in Fnatic. Yeah,
Witcher, I know you cast that series, first series of the day, and you were, I think, right in saying that Adam, as a player, I mean, this is the guy with a TI top 4 finish under his belt at TI 6. Didn't necessarily look comfortable earlier today. You think he's going to turn that around?
Hopefully, for their team's sake. I do think that he needs some time before he, gels with the team. Even though he's like the coach of the team, he's always there with them. But it's still playing is different from watching from behind and analyzing the game. So I think he'll get better.
That's what Envy said in his interview after they won. It's like, having what's it like playing with your coach? And then Envy's like, oh no, he's like a player. Like for this tournament, he's a player and he's focusing on his play rather than doing what he used to as a coach. So it's like he's kind of very much changed his role for the time being.
Take some time.
One thing, since you mentioned the interview, one thing that struck me about both that interview and the announcement that Fnatic put out saying that Adam was going to be playing was that both of them mentioned shot calling. The statement by Fnatic mentioned that they were bringing in Adam to work on shot calling and cohesion. In the interview after the series today, Envy mentioned they needed to trust the shot calls more. I know they were talking about that backstage. Is this something that you've seen with this team, Winter, in the last month or so, that a little bit of a shot calling problem?
I mean, it's always been like this for Jackie's team. He's like a really like skilled player for me. I really like watching him play, but I feel like he tends to play better when there's like a secondary captain on the team. I don't feel like he plays his best when he's trying to captain and when he's trying to lead the team at the same time and play a good carry. Like when he plays his best, he was with Puppy. He had a captain, like someone to make it easier for him to play the game. Right now, I think it'll be good if Adam can gel much more with the team and help with the decision making. It's definitely going to help Jackie play better.
And I think what they really, when Jackie's shot calling, I don't think it's that there's bad calls as much as there's the whole 50-50 meme. I think it's more like lack of calls because they're a team that has so many like 50, 60-minute games. That's the Fnatic classic, you have these games that just drag out, go to late game when they can win them earlier. And I think they need that kind of support shot caller who can gather up all the cores together to achieve objectives, because that's something they fail to do. And I think when you have your shot call in the carry role, as Envy's done, it's a lot harder to do that because you're just focused on yourself having a good game. You need that player to pull everyone together to actually achieve something.
I mean, don't get me wrong, you still have the shot call as a carry, but during the early stages of the game, maybe till mid-game, you want a support or maybe even the off-lane player with the ganking hero, the tempo hero to do more shot calling. But when it comes down to like the late game team fights, the carry definitely has to say something. When we can take Roshan, when we are really strong, I match up really well with the opponent's carry. This is the time we want to go. But when you don't have like a captain, when you don't have a direction, then it tends to become a farming game. We're not sure what to do. Let's just farm, you know. What can go wrong?
I think that's exactly what happened. If you look at the first game today, the Terrorblade game in game 1 earlier today, where the mid game was just incredibly passive. It felt like Envy had a farming lead on that Terrorblade, they never really pushed the towers, and it just felt like there wasn't anybody else on the side of Fnatic that was lighting a fire under the team and saying we need to apply some pressure on the map.
It's kind of the same for their opponents today, Vega. Right now, I look at their 3 games throughout. It felt like they were a team of like really skilled players. Their support really shined the most for me. The position for guy Zayak.
Yeah.
He played 3 really good games. I think the team is lacking like direction. They tend to make like mistakes that are mostly attributed to shot calling. They go into bad places to take a fight, no objectives. They're having a lead, but they just like split up. They didn't like group up, take objectives. I think this is the kind of sign that the team doesn't have like a clear captain.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this Vega Squadron team, because this is very much an experiment. You're taking Sioma, who's one of the best-known support players, 5-position veteran on the CIS scene, and pairing him with 4 relatively young players. Now, Undershock does have a history with the organization. Undershock actually played with Vega for like 4 months, right around the time that Sioma joined. Otherwise, though, the 3 others, Palantimos the carry, Blizzy the offlaner, and Zayak, as we mentioned, is the 4-position player. These guys relatively new to the competitive scene, all around 18 to 20 years of age, and this is it's a big risk for an organization that has had some really good teams over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think getting some young players, maybe just what they felt they need to shake things up, and they've definitely shown success in the recent qualifiers, winning several of them. It really is a very open CIS region now, with some of the fall off of Na'Vi, with Roger leaving the team, Lil coming in, Na'Vi still trying to find their form. So there's a very open slot as the #2 CIS team. Right now, no one's taken it. You know, you've got
Empire.
Empire. I don't think Empire is definitely not. They've not done well lately. It's like Fly to Moon and Vega have won most of the qualifiers. Na'Vi's still doing all right, as we saw here. They took a game of Fnatic. They don't look hopeless. So any of those 3 teams, maybe Empire as well, could be the 2nd best CIS team. And given that VP's a direct invite to TI, you know, there's an open slot for TI for CIS.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Fly to Moon, and that's what struck me by contrast, is that you tend to see in the CIS squads the kind of recycled veteran teams, the recycled veteran stacks. It's relatively unusual to see a team of 4 young players paired with 1 veteran. I mean, I think the last time we may have saw it is the previous iteration with Vega, when they brought in Mag was the veteran, and they brought in, gosh, that was back when Pasha was carrying. Right?
That was with no one.
Yeah.
No one, Pasha, Mag, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that team was burst onto the scene at ESL 1 after TI 5. You know, maybe you have that lightning in a bottle again.
Maybe, but it seems like
Winter's not convinced.
It seems like the captaining, part needs a lot of work. But when I look at the team, like, I assume the captain would be Slayer, but he's been around for some time, and I don't know, maybe he's not like a true captain kind of player, but when you play position 5 and you're not the true kind of captain player, it makes you less valuable to a team, because position 5, you have the least amount of strain in playing the game. You are always given more responsibility about the team stuff, and you look at the minimap a lot. You decide what's the movement right now. You carry a smoke.
Decide where the wards go.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a good example of why someone like Saxa has struggled to stay in a tier 1 team, is because he's a 5-position player who's incredibly mechanically skilled, but he's not a good captain. At least he hasn't shown to be a good captain. So.
Yeah, that's actually a very good example. Position 5, so I feel like if you're not fulfilling the team duties, it doesn't matter like how skilled you are in the current way, like in the current system of how teams are playing, you will be least valuable compared to a experience or a very strong voice in a team as a position 5.
So we still have about 3 or 5 minutes before the game gets going. I want to pick your brain a little more on that, Winter, because you're a guy that has done some coaching in addition to spending time as a pro player. How much do you think the coaching role can shore up some of those deficiencies in shot calling? Can you get away with a 5-position player that's very skilled but not necessarily a leader by having that coach like ROTK?
He definitely can help, like in terms of drafting, but the person still needs to understand the game, and he needs to still make the calls. Like the coach is not going to be there throughout the game. Someone has to make the calls. You can't expect the coach to do everything. He can tell you, oh, what went wrong after the game. Maybe he can help you with the draft. He picks the heroes, but if the person has like no clue about what's happening and he just wants to play his game, then he's not the right person as a position 5 player.
You also have to adapt a lot, like during the game, not just from game to game with draft. It's like a team fight goes poorly for a reason, like let's say a certain reason, like some hero got initiated who needs to not get initiated on, or someone didn't use a spell correctly, like a snowball to save someone. It's like you need to make those adjustments as a captain. You say, this fight went wrong because of this. we need this item, we need to use this spell for only this purpose. Like often there's one spell you have which has to be used in the specific way or you're going to lose a team fight. So recognizing those things throughout a game so you can adapt right is always key.
I think that's actually, like, I think that's a super important point. I used to, you know, I used to argue with Kyle about this. I think that anybody can, I think that a lot of people can captain or can shot call when things are going right. When it's hard is when things start going wrong, and you have to make those little adjustments, and you're in a position that you didn't expect. And that's why, you know, this Vega Squadron team, I do think Tsunami made this point a lot during the last series, that they're a team whose decision-making, particularly in the later stages of the game, has improved a lot. But we saw in that previous series that, you know, they're still a young team. There's still some progress to be made there.
Yep. I think that's where playing on land like this can only help them get better. I think looking at this event, on its own, it's like, yeah, do as well as you can, but in the context of TI, get whatever experience you can from versing teams like Fnatic and all the other teams who are going to be here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of. I don't know. I said it GSE in Indonesia. That felt like the first kind of true minor to me, and I think that this tournament is as well. It's the story is about teams improving, teams learning. You have a few teams that are on the outside of the DPC points picture, but you have a team like Vega that's mostly playing to get better and have a better shot at qualifiers. So we still have a couple minutes to go here for the drafting phase. Gentlemen, overall impressions, have we seen, how much of today do you think is the particular teams and how much do you think is the patch? Because a lot of talk about the patch extending games, but it's tough. It's still Fnatic and Na'Vi. It's still two relatively inexperienced teams in our second series.
Yeah, I think that's something you often see is kind of once you don't have the tier 1 teams playing, the games just drag a bit more because teams aren't as good as like turning a lead into a bigger lead and taking objectives. So just naturally the games go a bit longer. I don't think it's necessarily the patch. Definitely too soon to say that.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was kind of a loaded question. I still don't fully agree with the tower and Rax gold bounty reduction. I didn't think that push strats were that outrageously strong.
Yeah, but I mean, you had like the Blizzy after that game said in his interviews, like, you know, like, because the interviewer at Murray asked him, and he was saying, you know,
they think it's still good, right?
Yeah, they think, push strats. They think push strats still fine because it's not about the gold you get from the towers; it's about the map control. That is more important than the gold that you get because your cores have so much more room to farm on the map and to play Dota when you take those towers. The gold's nice; it hurts the supports. I agree, but a 5-position getting less gold doesn't really change the outcome of a game.
So as you can see, we have a Game 1 draft here underway. Opening bands out on each side. Heading into our first pick by Vega. Winner, were you going to add on there? I'm sorry I cut you off, buddy.
No worries, bro. I mean, the general way of playing Dota would definitely still, you know, stay about the same. You want to take towers, whatnot. But I feel like it might be too early to say that the patch is going to like make the games longer, even though everything is pointing towards that. But it's going to take some time. A Dark Wheeler going to be available. Everyone knows that hero right now, what the hero does.
Ooh, this is the hero I've been wanting to see more of this tournament. I feel like Death Prophet is just, especially when you're trying to work on your team cohesion and get things going, it's the perfect hero to get everyone together in a lane and take objectives, push towers, take Roshan. I'm very surprised this hero hasn't been picked more.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that hero fixes a lot of problems by itself, just by its guaranteed ability. If you ever get a kill in your lane, it's guaranteed pressure on the tower. And I think that it's interesting to me too that as time's gone by, the cooldown on Exorcism has gotten nerfed repeatedly, but the duration has never been nerfed. And the duration is what allows you after a one-team fight to go pressure Roshan, go take a tower.
No Naga for you, Adam.
3-hit Naga.
That is enough. You know what? I'm not sure Adam is upset about that. He probably wants to play another hero.
Well, did Undershock play 3 games of Tiny or just 2 then?
It was at least 2. I forget what he played in game 1.
I mean, Tiny is still really, really strong.
Well, in some ways, I think I saw some mentions like, oh, it feels like he's weaker, but I actually, like, he has more health, level 1. He's gets magic resistance now. I think in some ways he's
It was more
fine.
the nerf was, right, that he lost one. They took one base HP regen away from him and gave it to Slark. Right, but the one base HP regen, not necessarily a game winner by itself.
Yes. I'll tell you, Slark needs more than that.
Yeah, he probably does. Oh God. Well, the first phase Terrorblade by Vega, and I like that a lot. Even though it is vulnerable to burst damage picks as the draft goes on, it certainly I like it a lot against the Death Prophet.
I feel like in some ways they were expecting Fnatic to first to it, but that's also why they first picked the Dark Willow, because that's very heavy magic damage, Terrorize, being a nice disable you can have as well. So I think they felt like Dark Willow is a good forward position to have against TB, but then they're like, well, we'll just take the TB.
I mean, Dark Willow could just be like a good hero, you know, like a highly valuable. You just pick the hero. And
I just feel like Dark Willow from the 4 or even the 5 position is just so threatening. Her magic damage output, it gets big quickly and it continues to scale. Yep. She's the kind of hero that can make a core by BKB. She's the kind of hero that can threaten the Death Prophet with magical burst. Like,
to be honest, I prefer her a little bit more on position 4. I feel like she needs some items, you know. I mean, it's still playable on 5, but I think as 4, you get to see the true terror, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No pun intended. Dork. Well, your Bat Rider is banned. Winter was calling for the Bat Rider pick throughout the previous series. Not going to get to see it here, my friend.
Banning out heroes. The offlaners that can bother a Terrorblade now. The Underlord Doom, which is, I guess, thinking the Death Prophet's going to go mid, but I feel like Fnatic's team who have run Envy on the Death Prophet as a safe laner, so if they want to get the, your Tinker type heroes to play against the Terrorblade, it is possible.
Tinker, even Ember Spirit.
That's the thing, those are the Arbit heroes which work fine if Envy is playing Death Prophet, which is perhaps something Vega are overlooking here with these bans.
The position 5 against Terrorblade, I would like to see maybe Lion. Lion can remove the illusions. Fairly useful against Terrorblade. It's
going to be interesting to see here. Like, Vega have actually been off for a couple of weeks before this tournament, because remember, they were kind of a last-minute replacement for LGD. They were, 2 of their members were at home in Kyrgyzstan, which does not have great ping. So they had spent some time off before this tournament after playing some of those qualifiers, and are coming in, not only maybe a little rusty mechanically, but not necessarily as prepared for some of the strats. Without their coach here yet.
Is the Lion.
Yep, like I said, pretty useful. Clearing out the illusions. You have the burst against Terrorblade.
Disable against Terrorblade to stop Sunder, yeah. Definitely on paper one of the better 5s against TB, but it's always a question of can you actually use those things against TB. You walk into Mana Drain, you get blown up. That's a perfect hero for Vega to just initiate on if he's out of position.
Let's see if Vega goes for like the Nyx here. Like, I see many teams when they're playing against DP, their position 4, they like to go for Nyx because of the Carapace.
Means Lion's got to be careful too.
Yeah. Jakir.
Yeah, that is very much a Vega special.
Interesting.
Okay.
Power push.
Have they been playing as an offlane?
It's usually a support for them. It's one of Sioma's heroes going way back, and it's...
Didn't he kind of get nerfed? Because he lost some of his starting HP, like what, 40 or 50 HP? Because of how the attribute works right now.
Yeah.
He has like high strength for intelligence hero at level 1. Oh, we'll see.
Okay, and this will be another Universe Pango.
Pango and Tusk. That's my favorite combination.
We saw that. I really liked that earlier today. We saw that Universe in the offlane position, building that utility Pangolier, getting the pipe up relatively early.
Team player.
That is definitely feels like the way to play the hero. He got the first Javelin though, which I didn't like.
Don't be the selfish Javelin player. Be the team player. You know, buy the Crimson Guard if you need. If you need a pipe, if you need a grease. But Dagger is something I feel like no matter which build you go, the defensive build, the team build, or the the selfish solo build, you still want to have a Dagger on the hero. It's the item that makes you useful throughout the game. And let's see for Vega.
A hero that can potentially negate that armor of the Terrorblade too.
Yeah, Heart Piercer. We saw that matchup earlier today.
The Vega one, probably their offlaner here. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they're going to pick 2 in a row.
Is that Beastmaster available? They need like some BKB piercing stun so that they can stop the Pango.
Okay.
Prophet.
Yeah.
Just all out push, so they have this Jakiro, Terrorblade, and Nature's Prophet.
No, they want to play on the enemy side of the map. And that's just and that's very compatible with how Palantimos runs.
They are sacrificing a lot of their draft, though. They don't have catch right now. They're gonna have to build items like Orchid to make up for it.
They're gonna need like catch.
There's no
front
catch.
line from their mid lane. They're gonna need like a Dragonite type hero, I feel.
Yeah, Dragonite would be probably the best kind of hero that they want for their lineup. A front line, a catch, a pushing hero. But I think Fnatic is more or less gonna ban it. It's very
I think
I
should. I feel That's where the Beastmaster sounded good, because it's push, but it's also a frontliner, it's also catch.
It's more balanced. Like,
Yes.
Prophet is like a really, really strong hero still, but it's more like the draft becomes imbalanced because of, it's not necessarily because of the Prophet itself, but because of the other heroes around it, like the Dark Wheel and the Jakiro as a support duo. It's kind of like, they are lacking in terms of the catch severely. Oh, they banned out the Nyx. So they're expecting the Prophet to be like a mid hero or
Terrorblade.
Terrorblade
mid and Nature's Prophet safely. I don't. Yeah, it's.
Well, it's weird. Like Blizzy moves around so much on his Nature's Prophet that he actually, if you look at a lot of his games, the automatic lane classification algorithms actually classify him as a roamer on his core Nature's Prophet a lot, which is very unusual. But he switches lanes a lot. Obviously, TPs to gank other lanes very early on.
Trollban, one of the stronger laners that you can maybe have against Nature's Prophet. So.
I think
I just think it gives
even the troll. I don't know. Like I feel like Tinker might be like a bigger problem, though they don't have catch. Yeah, and I think Tinker with DP Pango, like this kind of tricore setup, their heroes are really mobile. And
the Nyx ban maybe even suggests the Tinker is something they're considering.
I don't know.
You know, I think Ember's a possibility too.
Yeah, Ember probably. Like Ember is also I think maybe more balanced than the Tinker, because it gives you like another physical hero. It gives you more like mid to late game power.
Or the other thing is you keep Abed on the DP and pick like an Envy Luna.
Possible. But I don't like Luna against TB. It's like
Luna against TB could get bullied by NP in lane.
You kind of don't want to pick. Like,
what?
What's happening? Is Shadim mid?
Who is a core?
I don't think Shadow Demon's a core, right?
Jakiro is a core.
Yeah,
Jakiro's gotta be.
Jakiro sounds like the core. Jakiro mid even? That occasionally is a thing.
Dude, they knew something with that Nyx assassin.
So okay, just pick Tinker. Just pick like it's gonna be like a Tinker or.
Sounds perfect.
Oh, never mind.
We've forgotten.
Wait. So
We committed the cardinal sin. So Sioma 5 position Shadow Demon, Undershock the core Jakiro. It's gonna be a mid Jakiro.
Okay, they have no core to core matchup good lanes against Brood.
Versus Brood doesn't sound great, but it sounds.
No, I think you can you actually hold that lane?
You still. The thing is, you try and use your spells. You can kind of juke around them with the spider lanes. I think you still get run down.
Yeah.
But you're playing like a mid Jakiro. You're not expecting it to be your carry. So if your Jakiro has a rough lane, you're maybe okay with it.
Eta GG.
Time to lay it on the line, guys. Prediction.
Eta GG. 10 pick Brood Mother.
I haven't seen Abed's Brood though. You know, if it's like a 33
he's
Brood,
a good Brood player.
Okay. Is it 30?
All right.
33?
Winter's going with Fnatic. God.
If he believes in Abed's Brood, I believe.
I think I'm gonna have to make
your own
here,
decisions,
guys.
bro.
All three on the panel for Fnatic. One more time here for our last series of the day. Let us throw it out to our casters. Have fun, guys.
Thank you so much, Nahaz, and the wonderful panel, my man Tsunami. It is game number 1 of our 3rd series of the day, starting off with the Brood Mother. And 10th pick Brood to beat. This sounds terrifying to me. I'm really afraid.
Yeah, I would be afraid if you're Vega Squadron, but for me, this sounds like a blissfully short game. How could you stretch out a Brood Mother game to 40, 50 minutes, right? The envy factor can't come in, right? Please tell me it can't happen.
I mean, that's sort of the question. All of these games have gone kind of the distance today, it's felt like, and Brood Mother is certainly not the hero that wants that to happen. You got any thoughts for the Jakiro versus Brood Mother match? I mean, that's the one that they're going to probably be going for, right?
Right, yeah. Undershock has typically been running the core Jakiro, and I am almost certain that they were not hoping for a Brood Mother pick, but it's not as bad as some other ones. Like we saw 33 in day 1
against
pick up
the DP.
Against the DP, and that's a miserable situation, whereas Jakiro, a little bit more okay, also because Jakiro, you're not really expected to get that much farm. You're mainly expected to keep the mid lane busy. The problem is Brood Mother loves being kept busy. She has nothing better to do than make a little home in your mid lane.
Yeah. Well, here we go, moving out across the map, and don't know if we see any early smokes going on, but I'm very curious also to see Shadow Demon, a hero that people have been lauding as potentially going to be a breakout hero.
Ooh, Envy. Yeah, there's a smoke all right. Vega Squadron have found themselves a Death Prophet.
Oh, we get to see it in a lovely showcase view here as they try to take down Mr. DP, and Eternal Envy going to fall.
Smoke up, it got broken, he placed the ward, and, well, that's curtains, but, you know, will... I'm not concerned about Envy this game. It's all about Abed. If he's able to be as dominant as 33, which again, Abed is going for a triple mango build on Broodmother, which seems to be the go-to, you have this Spiderling nuke in your pocket whenever necessary. And Jakiro, as was mentioned on the panel, kind of suffered from these 7.13 changes. He's a little bit less tanky, and Jakiro's claim to fame is being like a very difficult to kill int support hero, and also a very menacing core mid if you do choose to run it that way. But I don't know if it's going to be that intimidating against a Broodmother.
Fair enough. Well, we'll have to wait and see how Undershock is able to perform on that hero. And then, of course, what type of rotations they can make work, because Nature's Prophet may be moving in, seeing if he can do something there. It's not always the easiest gank in the world to make happen, but there's a possibility for it if they can bring him down low, and he's trying to play the margins. Other lanes, though, it's also going to be a TB as well as that Shadow Demon up top, and we've seen TB and Shadow Demon played a lot of times in the past. It's a pretty strong combo for pushing.
Yeah, it was along with the cheese of the Shadow Demon Luna strategy as well, though not quite as effective. And Shadow Demon as a hero has kind of fallen off as he gets sharded up in the top lane and doing some banishing, but...
Oh my god, taking a lot of damage from the Swashbuckle. It's going to throw out a couple more right clicks. In the meantime, Abed taking some harassment as well from Mr. Undershock.
He's going to need to enjoy these moments while he has them, because once Abed gets a few levels, Undershock is not going to be able to abuse a Broodmother like this. He's just going to be able to get a few levels, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's mostly break-even, because the Breathe Fire nuke does make it very difficult. It slows down attack speed like crazy, and Spiderlings obviously depend on attack speed. They're not really like, they don't have particularly high BAT or anything like that.
And of course, the other really nice part about this for Undershock that we didn't mention
top
is
lane, actually.
They're going to be able to find a kill onto Mr. Tusk. But the nice part about that was that getting the first blood, Jakiro has double null tally, so he's hitting for about 70+ damage on that Jakiro to start out against Abed.
Yeah, and it gives him a fair amount of HP as well. The question is, he may need to start building up armor. Something like a Baziring may be value, because in the 33 Death Prophet matchup that we saw, she was just getting shredded by Spiderlings. The hero didn't even need to be there. All you needed to do was send an army of summons, and you would be picking up kills.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be one of the things to watch out for there. Also, very nice little mana pool for the Jakiro nowadays, since he gets the less damage, or HP, he's going to be having a higher base mana pool, and almost doubling up the Broodmother right now in terms of CS. He's having a very nice time for himself.
Yeah, Spinweb needs to get into higher levels so that he can have this kind of lane sustain. Once he gets the Soul Ring, it becomes a little bit easier because of the HP regen that the item provides, but Spinweb is how Broodmother survives now that she doesn't have invisibility. She needs the HP regen coming in from that. And now we got a rotation from Zayats, who picked up an Invis rune.
Hiding out there behind the tower, looking for an opening, and gonna be able to get the courier as well. So Fnatic taking damage on the tower. This Jakiro's dominating the lane. They're having a great time.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Obviously, Fnatic are not really interested in helping out the Broodmother. You don't pick a Brood if you have to help her out. This Slayer kind of contesting here, gonna get sharded blocked, but...
Yeah. Well, they're bringing in the Dark Willow as well, just to make sure that their Shadow Demon does not get taken down. But again, Fnatic trying to find openings here. Is there any sort of silver lining for them? What's going right for Fnatic right now?
Well, Envy is basically going unimpeded as there's a Cursed Crown out.
He is going to be able to get the creep, but ends up paying the price for it. Just dies to Slayer.
Does Zayats ever not operate? This is the 4th hero we've seen him play today, and he's been doing work. He's been roaming so exceptionally well. Obviously, the Invis rune is a bit of a gift to pick off that courier, but the man knows where to be, and now they're going in again.
Oh, and there they're able to get this banishment, trying to bring down Universe. It's a lot of damage, but he is going to escape. And, well, now he's going to have to make the walk back to the lane. And this is what the panel was talking about, able to dodge away from some of the damage mid lane. The Jakiro not able to quite hit with that dual breath onto the spiders.
Yeah, and he's got 2 mangas of his own. The problem is he's running low on mana now, and you see how fast these Spiderlings are. He's just toying with these cast animations. You may get the slow, but the fire DOT comes out later, and these spiders are too fast for a Jakiro.
Well, Terrorblade, top lane, had to pop that Metamorphosis earlier, so he's going to be able to farm pretty well, but once the Pen goes back in here, it's going to be a little bit rougher of a lane for him, as, well, Roche ends up taking down Zayats.
early game denies were supposed to be nerfed. You weren't supposed to be doing that. And now mid lane, DJ's got a DD rune.
Now looking to roll in on this Undershock Jakiro, getting dough very early on, and well, that is the strength of the Broodmother. With a little bit of help, they take him down.
Yeah, 3 heroes may have been a little bit more excessive, but Adam didn't have anything better to do, and Lion had picked up that double damage rune, so go for the pick.
Dark Willow now moving in, seeing if they can find something onto Envy. They get him with the Sprout there as well. Spirit Siphon going to be broken as they actually don't break it. He needs to walk further away now and just going to TP out of there. So Envy is going to make it away.
Yeah, these TP scrolls are going to be very important for Fnatic because the stuns are kind of minimal. You can TP out of a Curse Crown because the delay is too long. Ice Pat's not going to be up and running for a while on the Jakiro, and Disruption is really your only reliable way of canceling TPs, and that's a very high cooldown spell.
Universe now going to pop the secondary shrine. Wants to head back in the lane as soon as possible. Adam doesn't get any love from that one, but no big problem.
So you know, on the Russian stream, they have sponsored shrines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like every time a shrine is popped on the stream, there's like a pop-up from Borjomi, which is like some drink company.
Nice.
And I can't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's saying like, this shrine brought to you by Borjomi.
That's amazing. I love that.
I know. Not that
Subscribe.
I'm kidding.
Thank you very much for the well-timed sell. That's great. Spiders, again, going to take a lot of damage there, and, well, actually going to get some decent gold as well. As these levels start to get up higher and higher for the Jakiro, if they do manage to hit, could be pretty nice.
Yeah, dying sucked, but he went back to base. He got full mana as a result, although now the medallion is completed for the Broodmother, and you will see Undershock having to play a little bit more carefully because, like I said, Ice Pat's not going to come out for a while, and free pathing is going to be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah. Well, bottom lane, they're getting set up down here, Vega Squadron, but a lot of heroes from Fnatic in the area as well. Courier took a little bit of damage. Actually, they managed to get it Blizzy with the rotation.
That was a hard read. You can't scan a Courier, he just knew.
Yeah. I think that they had hit at least one time.
Yeah, and it was lingering. But, like, I mean, he went straight into the trees, so, like, if you don't get the perfect spot, it's going to be fogged. That's the second time the Courier has died.
Yeah. That one given that extra bit of experience as well. So, Vega, again, Undershock is there and going to keep on spamming out his spells to bring these spiders low. He's going to miss uphill there. But, I mean, Abed's not really doing that much damage to the tower, not really dominating in CS either.
No, I'm super impressed with how it's going. Obviously, the CS isn't quite accurate. It's now a Curse Crown on Envy in the bot lane.
Yeah, double Spirit Siphon out, the snowball forward, wanting to find themselves a kill, and they are going to be able to take down that Dark Willow. But Slayer trying to create that little bit of separation. The shards are going to go out, though, and Vega Squadron are going to lose another.
Oh, these Treants came a little bit too early, otherwise they may have been able to block out Tusk, but instead Shadow Demon, that dude does not have phase boots. He was getting blocked by his own teammate, but just 2 supports going down. Nature's Prophet ends up surviving and shrining up. And the whole time, that means that all this movement is going on, and Palantimos up in the top lane, he's basically free-farming on this Terrorblade. And we saw in the previous series how early Palantimos is willing to fight on this Terrorblade as well.
And with a Shadow Demon means that it's even more potent, that pressure when it eventually comes. The dive in very deep onto Undershock. Can they find this kill regardless as they do get the wraparound, trying to take him down. They are going to get that kill, and now Blizzy might also be in trouble as Abed just going to dive forward for this one, pops the salve, and now they're going to pop the ultimate in turn. Not going to be able to stop the Rolling Thunder forward. Man,
no, it's cool. Pangalier's in the top lane. You don't need to worry about that spell yet.
Lordy, though.
Sprout is not going to stop a Broodmother from free pathing. Ice Shards is one of the best spells to work with as a Broodmother, and now Slayer is feeling the wrath.
Yeah, this is another quick and easy kill. Abed dominating now, and, well, losing off heroes left, right, and center.
And now Undershock comes back in. DJ was
oh my god, they're just going to go after him yet again. They find him, blow him up, and that's Exorcism Pop for this.
Yeah. This is part of the issue. Normally, other heroes that go up against Broodmother, they can consistently come back, but Jakiro is, there's like a window of time that he's especially effective. Right now, we saw, right before he died, he was consistently uphill missing Liquid Fires. Abed has the medallion as completed earlier before, and he's going for an Orchid, and that's just going to make life even harder for the Jakiro as DJ dies in the bot lane to a Blizzy rotation.
Prophet, still a potent hero, not necessarily the greatest at dealing with the Broodmother, but it's something. And, well, rolling around, Universe. Make sure that he does not get brought down as well. So 9 minutes in, it's a little bit under 1,000 gold lead into the favor of Fnatic, with a lot of levels on that Broodmother. But Terrorblade is still farming quite potently.
He is. The problem is, who are you more afraid of having net worth, a Jakiro or a Death Prophet? Because right now they're tied.
Yeah.
And for, I guess, the next like 10, 15 minutes, I'm more afraid of the Jakiro. But after like 15, 30 minutes, I'm definitely more afraid of the Death Prophet.
Well, we do see another kill there. Undershock actually takes down Abed.
Yeah, he was getting a little bold doing the whole put up webs after you claim the tier 1, start farming the enemy jungle, and ends up going down. And Slayer now gets very, very close to level 6. And that's apparently, I imagine that's the reason why you picked the Shadow Demon. Like, obviously the Terrorblade synergy is nice as well, but I want to see what this new Purge, Constant Purge is capable of. There's no real cute synergies against the enemy team that you can constantly purge off some buff, but it's still, I guess maybe like a defensive
you can't
medallion.
Yules if you're
That's true,
Death
you can't
Prophet.
Yules, exactly.
That's a pretty nifty one.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, over here to the side, they're going forward and going to use the initial Purge. Takes down DJ. And now Death Prophet. Bold as Brass just going to walk forward. Pango goes in, going to be able to break the TP. Blizzy will have, I believe, no, his second one's on cooldown, so he will end up falling. Finishes off the drums there now.
And Universe, again, planning on going for that one Javelin build, most likely into a Blink Dagger afterwards. I guess it's just something that he likes. I guess against a Terrorblade specifically, the Javelin proc chance may be a little bit more effective at getting rid of illusions, but I imagine it's just, I mean, Universe has probably played this hero plenty, and this is just his go-to build. I love the different schools of thoughts for the Pangolier.
Yeah. All right, well, again, the tier 1 tower in the top lane is going to be assaulted as Pontimos tries to take that one down. They've got a wraparound coming, though. Universe here as well as DJ. They're going to try and take down this TB. Snowball connects there, but still the Tusk, very low, Finger of Death out as well. He does have a Sunder when he gets back up. Can they take him down in time? He manages to get it off. Now takes down Universe, possibly. Oh, he's being creased by the illusion, and they do manage to take it down. Dark Willow makes it happen, and now they also get the Purge. Going to be able to find themselves DJ yet again. So Fnatic lose 3 and the tower.
And Envy was trying to come in with some recovery plan, but just wasn't possible. His silence could have been invaluable at stopping that Sunder from getting off, but 2 heroes go down, and as you said, the tower claimed. And Metamorphosis wasn't even up for that. He was just kind of chilling there, and now Metamorphosis is up in 10 seconds.
So, again, Abed, he's a scary, scary hero, and did take down that tier 1 tower, but it's a question, what do you do at this point? He's farming out the jungle. Needs to be careful he doesn't end up losing too many of these spiders. It looks like it's going to tick away on some of them.
So in the 33 game, Broodmother just never left the mid lane. Even though it kind of got a little difficult to push high ground, he was adamant that, like, this is the place I need to be. There's no point in me trying to claim these easy side lane towers because that's where my team is farming. And if I compromise too much of their team, as Envy gets a kill on the Dark Willow on the top lane with an Exorcism, then it makes it a little bit more difficult for your team. The problem is, in the 33 game, he wasn't up against a hero like a Jakiro that can very easily drive back your push. So I imagine that's part of the reason why Abed is going for this Orchid. He wants to just be able to get a pick on the Jakiro and then start promptly moving down the mid lane, but I think he's going to stick around and make his home in the entire Mills part of this map.
Envy needs to be careful here. They're going to be able to banish him, and the chase coming. They got Ice. Nice silence, but the Ice Path's going to be there. Curse Crown, everything dropped on his head. And Vega Squadron will get the deny as well. So another tower falls, but it's denied out, and well, Vega Squadron looking really solid in this game number 1.
Yeah, and Palantimos having a pretty solid start is the most confidence boosting thing about this, because Broodmother lineups have peaks and valleys, and right now this should be a peaking time for a Broodmother. I guess after he completes his Orchid will be the main peaking time, but the fact that a Broodmother has taken control of your mid lane, and how much control is it that is getting initiated on?
Oh, Ice Path down, they got him caught. Abed's dead. And again, Vega Squadron just making the solid rotations. They're kind of taking control of this game.
Yeah, this ward in their own jungle. It's not often that you see a team put up a defensive ward as Rolling Thunder doing some work.
Yeah, Blizzy in a lot of trouble, gonna get chased down and killed off. Universe able to find that one.
Yeah, so Vega have defensively warded their triangle jungle, as everyone affectionately refers to it, and You know, normally you never want to have to defensively ward, but against a Broodmother, it's almost an offensive ward because you know she's always going to be in there.
Right.
Yet again, Palantimos did not have to spend Metamorphosis, which ideally they could translate into a tower push. Undershock is trying to push down mid, and he's been chipping away with it with this Liquid Fire, but not yet willing to group up his 5, it seems.
Well, we've seen this time and again out of the earlier games from Fnatic. Universe split pushing with the Pango, staying alive, and sort of buying them time, I guess you could say, as Fnatic are 2K in the tank.
Yeah, the problem is, like, you have 2 heroes that buy time and no one who's really taking advantage of it. Like, Death Prophet is their hardest carry, I would argue. I mean, aside from the Broodmother, but still, like, Broodmother was mid. She's supposed to be buying time for another core.
Right.
Pangolier is buying time. He's completed his solo Javelin. He's going for the Blink Dagger next. Someone needs to be able to go late against this Terrorblade, and right now everyone's struggling. Broodmother's the closest in net worth, but that's not the hero that you want.
Oh, and Vega, look at this wraparound. They're actually instead going to go down bottom lane where Universe is hanging out there, and they do have a Veil already on the Dark Willow. He just used Shield Crash as well, and there's going to be the lift up. They have the Ice Path to follow, in a ton of trouble. The Fear comes out, and that is a dead Universe. So Fnatic going to need to try and get something across the rest of the map because they lost their Pango down bottom.
In the post-game interview, Blizzy was seemingly very confident, and this is the best I've seen Vega play today. It seems like, much like the interview said, it was a warm-up game against SG, because these movements are far more clean than we saw in the SG Esports series, and they're abusing Fnatic against what was, in my opinion, a surprise Broodmother pick that would kind of throw most teams off balance, but Vega have remained steadfast.
Yeah, very well prepared for it here, at least to some extent, and see if that changes over the next couple of minutes, but for now at least, Vega kind of in control of this game. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Zayat, he is going to get taken down. So, Fnatic able to punish there on Vega Squadron, getting a little bit too big for the britches.
Yeah, but before he dies, he places a tower ward.
It's a Blink Dagger Jakiro, just gets out of there.
He is, I'm super impressed. Like, many times I've underrated Jakiro mid, like, sometimes I've played TA against Jakiro mid, and like obviously the refraction's a real issue, but the attack speed is so underrated on max dual breath. Right. And I thought that the Spiders would be able to outmaneuver it based off of move speed, but Undershock has completely changed my opinion of that matchup. And this is Abed. This is a 10K Broodmother that we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Well, Vega Squadron take down all of the Tier 1 towers. Fnatic now looking for an answer of their own. They still have one more Tier 1 in the bottom lane. What would you like to see Fnatic do over the next couple minutes?
They're banking on Envy getting the first item. More often than not, they'll be like, okay, Envy, whenever you decide that you have enough core items, then we'll start playing around you. And in that earlier series against Na'Vi, when he was playing the Terrorblade, it seemed like he was never content. This game, now they're smoking up. He has the Yules ready. It's not much, but as long as Terrorblade isn't there, or if they find the Terrorblade alone, then they'll be able to get kills.
Oh my god, look at this image.
Yeah, he's getting shredded.
They just send all the Spiders after him with an Orchid.
Kill them all.
Slayer's just gone. They throw out the Ice Path. It is not quite on the mark, but they do get the dual breath onto the Spiders.
Getting wrapped.
Yep, they found... Oh, the blink away!
Wow.
Undershock.
That's really impressive. He saw the Terrorblade illusion get hexed, which I'm surprised that DJ went for the hex. I'm sure he was probably just spam cast canceling it in the fog, and then the Conjure Image just bumbled his way in. And he saw that illusion just poof, and he's like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah. Heads up play. They managed to escape, but yet it's still also a nice little pickup there, taking out the Shadow Demon for not that much invested. See if Fnatic are going to go for next here, as they do have, I believe, that Exorcism back online.
I would prefer them to use the Exorcism for a Roche as opposed to using it for a Tier 1 tower. I don't think Tier 1 tower in the bot lane is valuable enough for Fnatic to spend an Exorcism on, because while Vega Squadron don't have the best Roche taking team, I think Fnatic have a great early Aegis team. And if they give it to the Broodmother or the Death Prophet, I think they're both excellent carriers. It's now top lane.
Oh, the Orchid reveal coming out from Blizzy, so they are really looking like a strong ganking squad here as well, globally.
Yeah, and Pango is one of the best to show it on. You can't really do anything by silencing Broodmother, who is now going in on Jakiro.
Eul Scepter, blink away maybe. Oh, Terrorize comes out.
Nice.
Undershock going to try and TP, not going to happen. They take down that Jakiro.
Yeah, Abed wisely stays away from the fight, and now Exorcism is popped, and it is for the Roche, and Medallion's up. You got a whole army of spiders. This is going to be easy peasy.
Yeah, they're going to be going for that play now. Terrorize still in cooldown, 80 more seconds. So no chance to run into there and steal that one away, I don't believe. A little bit too hard to do, and Fnatic going to claim the Roshan. What do they need to get out of this Roche here in this Aegis?
Right now you need to chill. Exorcism's down. You've got 2 minutes right now if you're Vega Squadron, where you're like, Palantimos, they're going to start coming at us. What are we going to do in 2 minutes whenever Exorcism's back up again? You are willing to give up another tier 1 tower in the bot lane, and tier 2 towers are kind of risky. You are only content giving that up if Blizzy and Palantimos on the Nature's Prophet and Terrorblade are split pushing. Otherwise, you need to start bracing yourself for a siege, because Broodmother, she's been quietly farming away. Ever since Abed got slapped in the triangle jungle, or whatever, the eastern jungle, he's been very conservative about where he's been farming. He's basically just been alternating between his Ancients and his jungle. So Abed is raring to cross the river and see what's going on the dire half of the map. Looks like another initiation as a disruption onto the Tusk.
Snowball towards the creep wave, and Adam going to be silenced, going to be hit just right on the edge by that ice path, so he does get taken down. And now Vega Squadron, knowing that Exorcism could still be down for a little while and finding that pickoff, they're going to try and push for the tier 2 tower bottom.
That's great. This is what I was hoping, but Vega Squadron usually are kind of passive whenever it comes to like losing some objectives, so they lost Aegis, and typically they're like, maybe we should chill for a bit. But this is exactly the ideal plan. You shouldn't bunker down, you should be aggressive. And now Fnatic's
now
TP, yeah.
looking to try and take this. The Earthspike comes through, the Rolling Thunder comes out afterwards. They do have a silence available if they wanted to use it. He is out there in force, already trying to take down Blizzy. They've killed off the Shadow Demon as well, so Vega Squadron almost gonna end up losing him, but the Sunder comes out, keeping alive that Terrorblade for a little bit longer. I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough though. Having lost several, Vega Squadron are gonna back out.
Could have gone worse. As long as Jakiro and Terrorblade get out, it's not a total disaster situation, and plus they end up claiming the tier 2 regardless in the end. But clean initiation from Universe came in from the bottom, and got a surprise Rolling Thunder is now silence on Zayats in the mid lane, and a Cursed Crown to follow up, but Abed is just way too fast.
It's gonna be a stun, but like you said, not really that much of a chance to find a kill on him without other heroes in the area. And in fact, it's Fnatic that are gonna be rotating into their jungle now.
Yeah, they want to get a pick before they go for Exorcism, because the tower's free. They can get that regardless, but if you can get a pick on top of that, that would be perfect. And they might, you almost on the creep.
A little off the mark there, and gonna give one more, hey, how you doing, before they head out. So as you said, tower very easily grabbed by Fnatic.
So you can go bot now. You have Exorcism. I would say that these 2 tier towers are also free. You've got plenty of time left on this Aegis. And Palantimos isn't really ready to fight on this Terrorblade. He's sitting around, doesn't really have control of his jungle. He knows that Fnatic just aggressively invaded the northern jungle, and as would be wise to suspect, there are 2 wards placed in his northern jungle, so that's not really safe. He needs to stay on the bottom half of the map.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what he's doing. Well, Fnatic sitting sort of near the mid area, and looks like they're not fully confident heading down to that bottom side either, because they don't have really solid vision around there. They're going to push out top lane and instead try and secure that tower first, maybe, since they have really good vision in that area.
Yeah. The problem is then Nature's Prophet kind of has like a free place to go.
Yeah.
Anytime you leave an exposed lane, especially one that Vega Squadron have vision of in this bot lane, you see all of Vega converging here because they know that this is the safest place on the map to be. And you see Fnatic is still lingering around inside of this dire jungle. It's just the supports right now, but they want to make sure that they have concrete control of the area, just so that whenever this tier 2 push starts, they're ready to start a fight if necessary.
Yeah, Death Prophet going to push out one more wave there, then maybe head up, group up with the team if they want to, or they can just keep farming. Again, this map control working out pretty well in their favor. It's a 2,000 gold lead, just continue to be accentuated by Fnatic. And it looks like right now Vega Squadron, are they moving up there also? They're kind of in the area with the NP.
They may know that Death Prophet's TP is down.
Oh, there's the jump. They're moving in with other heroes, but it might be a bit too late. And actually ends up hitting the shards. And now turning it back around. The Terrorblade starting to rip him asunder. Universe trying to get out, but he's going to end up falling as well. As the last right click flies out there, as well as the ulti damage. And yeah, a little bit off the mark there. The shards blocking the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, they end up getting the kill on the Nature's Prophet, but it's a weird movement from Fnatic. Like, they had all that vision, as previously mentioned, and they didn't have 5. Death Prophet wasn't there. Your Aegis carrier was not there. Your Exorcism hero was not there. And yet they were going for not a tier 2 push, they were going for a tier 2 dive, and got punished significantly. And now this Aegis doesn't really have that much time left. It was, you spent Exorcism for the Roche, it takes 2 minutes afterwards, and then 3 minutes were just wasted, and Aegis is reclaimed.
Well, needing to find answers here. Fnatic with the Aegis down. I mean, again, Broodmother kind of getting more and more out of control. I believe that Brood was going for a Nullifier next as well.
Yeah, she's completed the BKB. She's going for a Nullifier next, which
Yule Scepter. Do have BKB available, so Envy just going to pop that, now turn to fight, but he popped the ultimate, now just going to kite away from Envy. Wants to chase desperately with these Exorcism, but it's not going to work.
He's like, Envy, you want to keep moving? That's fine. We know exactly where you are. We know your Aegis is down, and he's going in deep, but looks like Vega's going to back out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Just pop ulti and run away from him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Metamorphosis was popped earlier, so that's going to be down, as now Shadow Realm gets away from the Spiderlings, and looks like this tier 2 tower will be claimed with the remnants of the Exorcism up top from Envy.
Pop Fortification takes a little bit longer, and actually it's going to wear off in time.
6-second glyph, man. It changes everything.
Yeah. They can't really get into position to defend it that well, it looks like. I mean, Jakiro's kind of in the area.
Let the Siege Creep do it.
Yeah. So they'll take that down. Meanwhile, bottom lane, it's been kind of just a farm fest again for these heroes, and it is going to be the Nullifier completed on the Broodmother. We've seen just how strong this item can be.
Very strong. In fact, so strong that Blizzy is also going for it. And now I'm not okay with Blizzy dying. He's been kind of feeding away himself more often than not in these gank attempts and these defenses. He's died 5 times. And initially that was fine because he was buying time for Terrorblade. But Terrorblade is good now. He's got a BKB completed. He's working on the Scotty. He doesn't need any more help. Blizzy needs to complete this Nullifier to make sure that Death Prophet can't get off this BKB.
Vega again going to try and work their way through the jungle, see if they can get any type of a pick-off here, but wisely, Fnatic have just been staying away. Every time, like, the only person that's gone in there, I think, the past couple minutes has been Envy. Everybody else from Fnatic is playing around the top side of the map.
Yeah, after the tier 2 tower was claimed bot, they don't really have that much better to do. They were farming the enemy jungle, so they don't really need to farm their own jungle on the Radiant half of the map, and so they've just been sitting away.
Jakiro going to get a nice little chunk of change for himself.
Fire for sure.
So just slowing down the farm rate of that Brood by taking out the spiders. Those wards in the area as well as we can see, giving good vision of the Vega jungle, so they know if anything is happening to happen over there.
Palantimos wants to flex this fresh BKB, but he's not really getting an opportunity. Fnatic are playing very, very defensively.
Death Prophet, like we talked about, BKB, Yule Scepter, as well as Shiva's Guard going to be the next pickup for Envy. The game is sort of slowed out right now. Do you feel like there's any team that's sort of more happy with the state of the game currently?
The next fight will determine it, because right now it's a 50-50, and the net worth indicates that it's less than a 1K net worth advantage for Fnatic. But initiation is in the favor of Fnatic. The Lion has completed a Blink Dagger and Force Staff, and if he can jump on any of these targets, they're guaranteed dead. Terrorblade is ideal. And if you're able to find that, that's great. Whereas Vega Squadron don't have that great initiation. It's pretty much just the Nature's Prophet doing some sort of flank attempt, or a Yule's initiation by Jakiro is now X.
Well, they find themselves the Shadow Demon in the jungle, and a little bit too tough, I believe. The Fear? Okay! Wow. He actually, well, he's going to maybe pop to the silence. No, it's the Death Prophet silence. Yeah, it wasn't an Orchid. So he's fine and dandy, and Zayat trying to run away. They throw down the Macropyre again, clearing through the spiders. So Vega get away.
Oh my gosh, and Tusk is taking so much damage. He got rooted in the Macropyre, but he's good, and they still want to go, actually. I mean, Exorcism has not been spent. BKBs have not been spent. And you know Shadow Demon's probably running back from the fountain, but now enough time has passed. Shadow Demon's probably returned. You're going to back off. And don't really get to place that much aggressive vision. They know that the cliff was recently counter-warded, so they placed another ward in between the hard camp and the Ancients in the Dire jungle, but they want to get a pick before they do anything too hasty. And pick on Shadow Demon didn't work, but it wouldn't have been ideal regardless.
And it feels like Roche is definitely going to be the next big thing that both of these teams fight over. As possible to respawn right now, but still a couple minutes away. I think a couple seconds away, actually.
thing is, Fnatic can take it way faster than Vega Squadron can, so Vega have to commit much more effort to it. Thankfully, it's not that big of a deal. They can send disruption illusions, they can send treants, they can send conjure images. You can police the pit with minimal effort, but you do need to keep eyes on it, and it'll be up in 5 seconds, and Abed's poised in that area.
So you had mentioned before that there's been, you know, a lot of time where we've seen the Shadow Demon with the Luna and now the Shadow Demon with the Terrorblade back in the past as well. What changed so significantly that we stopped seeing those combinations?
Shadow Demon is a more defensive-oriented support. Whenever you think of offensive supports, Disruption isn't one of the first skills that come to your mind. He's a kind of a slow-paced support, and you these days need strong lane dominators, and Shadow Poison is not a good enough spell to be a lane dominating spell. You need stuns, you need good right clicks, you need just base level abilities that are good enough without any items. And it's the same reason why you don't see Crystal Maiden very often either. She's like there to enhance your other cores, but these cores are enhanced themselves because DK, like, it was a very popular core, Razor's a very popular core, Death Prophet's a very popular core. They don't need help. They can do it themselves.
Yeah. Well, you also see now Fnatic posturing around the Roche pit. I think both teams should be aware that it is up. And they're going to pop Exorcism for this. Walking into the pit is going to be one of the treants. They know what's going on. Terrorize goes out. No, they pump faked it. They didn't throw it yet. Macropyre onto the Spider's Force Staff. Gets that Jakiro away. And with that, again, Fnatic maybe not feeling entirely comfortable going into it. The root, it connects there onto Envy. Still taking Roche fairly low. And the Ice Path is going to go out. Connects onto 2 of them. They still get to throw that Terrorize, waiting. It does finally go up, but it didn't connect onto Envy, so he's going to be able to get it. The jump forward, he manages to get the Aegis, though, and now in a ton of trouble. Undershock in harm's way. He falls, and Valentimos pop Metamorphosis, but they can't do anything here.
Jakiro should not have been the first one in. There's another kill on Zayats. Blizz is going to get a return kill on the Tusk, but it may come at the cost of his own life as he narrowly gets out.
Oh, but there's the mute, and they're going to find also this kill on the Shadow Demon. So 3 heroes go down for Vega Squadron while also getting the Aegis.
That was so much skepticism coming out from Vega Squadron. Like, I respect the YOLO play from the Jakiro, but he should not have been the initiating hero. You had the Terrorize come in. Terrorblade has a BKB. He has a 10-second BKB that he's yet to spend yet. Once he activates that, what is he really concerned about? You've got plenty of armor for the Exorcism survive. The Pangolier can't do anything to you. Broodmother can't do anything to you if you walk in because you can't get nullified after you BKB, and Lion's useless. But I guess maybe Palantimos wasn't in position yet. But regardless, Jakiro ended up going in first, where it should have been Jakiro in the back, just throwing away liquid fires and whatnot.
Maybe a chance here, though. They want to find this Brood. Not an easy kill in the least bit, though. And, well, Fnatic, again, able to dodge away from that gank. They've taken down Roche and now looking to try and, well, we'll see if they want to just keep on farming with this Aegis, or if they actually want to try and take down the bottom towers.
Yeah, they can make some moves. Exorcism's going to be up in 30 seconds, and Envy's already marching down. Has his BKB as well, 8 seconds for him, but you've got an Aegis. Although I don't want him going up here by himself. That's not a recommended idea.
Spooky, spooky. Envy.
And Vega's like, there's no way he's all alone. Is he?
They're thinking about it. Yeah, he manages to back out again. God, he is just so bold right here.
Yeah.
Not afraid of anything.
An Aegis will do that to you. An Aegis will do that to you.
Oh my goodness. Adam, Mr. Tusk, they are 4 heroes down bottom. The creep wave getting killed off, and, well, all the creeps are dying.
Fnatic were not expecting Vega to defend this. They're like, it's tier 1, we'll take it, and then we'll take control of their eastern jungle, but they're like, why do they keep clearing the wave here?
Oh. Mid lane, they're pushing in with the spiders, but again, Jakiro cleared that one out. And Jakiro is now at the 150 GPM talent.
Yeah, he's completed the Aeon disc. Man, I need a tooltip for that, right?
Yeah.
Aether lens, Aeon disc. I don't know. Nothing makes sense to me anymore. Merriam-Webster tells me that this tooltip is inaccurate, but you know, it's a fantasy world. We can do fantasy pronunciations.
Absolutely.
Blizzy's on the prowl, but not going to find anything. And for a team that has an Aegis, they're playing very delicately. For Fnatic especially, And I'm okay with that. You've got plenty of time left on the Aegis as now Undershock initiates on the Broodmother.
Gotta be careful. Ice Path out, but there's the BKB. The strength of being able to get that one off. And Muted actually throws the nullifier back at Abed. Not able to do anything there. Pango bouncing around a little bit. Now in some trouble. Blizzy is going to get disrupted though, so that's going to save for the moment. Still, Universe doing a lot of damage. Didn't hit with the swashbuckle there. They do still have eyes on this guy. The lift up there with the Yule Scepter and caught it. Just torn asunder again. Timos does a lot of damage, and well, now they can think about making a push happen for themselves.
Yeah, Pangolier opted for the pipe first as opposed to the Crimson Guard first. There's now another Yule's initiation on the Tusk.
He doesn't have a BKB,
cursed.
and he is gone.
Wow.
Tier 2 tower is just going to completely evaporate. Are they going to go for more?
I think they are. You've got Liquid Fire, you've got Jakiro just being a hella tanky dude, Aeon Disc ready, and you got plenty of time Metamorphosis as a finger comes out.
Jump forward though. They're trying to turn it back around. They aren't able to connect there, but again, it's eyes on the prize. Tier 3 tower being assaulted. They buy back on the Pango, and with that, Vega are going to decide to retreat as Universe chasing forward for more. He needs to be careful right now. Cursed Crown actually ends up being turned around upon both of them, so double stun, but it looks like everybody else from Vega should escape, the exception of poor old Dark Willow.
Zayats dies for the cause. He goes in just to confirm, although the courier does end up going down to Envy, and they want to do something with this buyback. They don't want Universe to buy back in vain. Willow kill is not enough to warrant that, and they've got Exorcism up. They've still got this Aegis for a little bit longer. Not that much longer, though, and it's just kind of difficult to break high ground, though, but Metamorphosis is down, BKB is down. This is as good of a timing as you can get.
Mid lane, how much damage was done to that tier 3? It was almost taken all the way, right?
It's down. It's 82 HP, really.
Yeah. Envy again, very far forward, feeling confident in himself. And it looks like the rest of the team is joining to follow, but the Aegis now just expires. They have eyes on him. They have the blink available. There's the Yule Scepter lift up, the Ice Path to follow. Is BKB not popped right now? They're trying to turn it. They're thinking about it. Now the Hex, the Mute, it's on to Terrorblade. Needing to run, needing to hide. Abed pops his own BKB, but now Envy goes forward for more. He's down at such low HP right now. Is he actually going to be able to make this work? Starting to fall down. Can they get the kill? The Rolling Thunder comes through. Universe trying to save the day. The Yule Scepter's going to be there. The Thunder comes off, and now the Ice Path on to 3. They take down the Broodmother as well. 3 die from Fnatic as Vega strike back in a big ole way.
Listen, I love Envy YOLO plays as much as everyone else. We saw a hilarious Thunder yesterday, today, I don't even know. Oh, no, it had to be today.
Yeah.
Fnatic have just been playing so many freaking games, and I wonder why, as he proceeds to go in and what almost looked like a turnaround situation, but the Sunder was clutch from Palantimos. He even had the cheese as well. I guess the idea was Metamorphosis is down for the Terrorblade, so like, this is a great opportunity, I guess, if you're a Death Prophet, let's go in. I've got Exorcism running, but he was so low HP. The Siphons do not do enough to keep you alive, and what a godlike fear from Zayats with that Terrorize.
Can we talk real quickly? We have a Lion that has an Aghanim Scepter, Force Staff, and Blink Dagger. So, I mean, this is a lot of damage done to the tower, but he can make something happen if they decide to buy back and fight this, maybe. Although Vega Squadron, they're hitting tier 4 towers right now. They don't care about anything.
Yeah, I don't know how many Aghanim Scepters it would take. I mean, you'll be able to clear out the illusions. It would be cheeky. They're ending the game.
They're going in tier 4
really
towers.
don't want to buy back.
37 minutes in, nobody's buying back. They throw out the ulti, now they buy back on the DP. They realize this game is about to end. Broodmother is forced to buy back with 12 seconds left. That is the most disappointing thing in the world for those cores. They are going to be able to find that Shadow Demon at the end, but you wait for the last possible second. You still have to buy back because they're going to end the game.
That's nerves of steel from Vega, and they actually get out with the cores. Like, even if they lost one core, I would have been like, that's okay. A 12-second buyback out of a Broodmother, and like an 18, I think it was the other way. I think Death Prophet was a little bit closer to respawning, but whatever the case, 2 core buybacks with minimal time left, and they get 2 supports. Hex comes out.
Well, they find themselves another, so
Blizzy
is going to drop as they get punched into the sky, but again, you gotta wonder, this all starts with this push up top lane as the Aegis expires from the DP, and then they go in, and then they die, and suddenly they've lost 2 racks. They've lost all their tier 4 towers.
Yeah, but everyone knows the saying, right? Envy with a net worth disadvantage is far more dangerous than Envy with an advantage. Is now rolling Thunder up top lane. Undershock gets Aeon Disc procced.
And he should be able to escape from this one now. Has the blink out after the fact. Never mind. Going to be caught here. Ice Path down, but still under control and going to be brought down. So 3 die or 3 dead right now, I should say, from Vega Squadron.
Not as bad as it could have been. Since it was so staggered out and all the way across the map, Fnatic weren't able to claim any objectives, and 2 solid racks is taken. I imagine part of the reason why Vega Squadron went for that, going for the jugular with the tier 4s, is also because there's a tier 2 tower up on the top lane still. It has like 19 HP, but they couldn't go for megas, and that would have been the more conservative play.
But even so, it's still such a cool play there because it forces out those buybacks, like on the cores when they totally did not want to, and they didn't think that they were going to have to.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully DJ's Aghanim Scepter comes into play.
The thing that's nuts about that is he has 2,000 gold on top of that.
Yeah.
He's almost ahead of the Pango in terms of net worth, and I think some of it has to do with just like constantly killing off these illusions.
Yeah, and he has a 120 GPM talent at level 15, so he's been rolling in it. But like, I mean, Lotus Orbs have been super valued. This is the most Lotus Orbs we've seen all day, and they are purging off a lot of things. They're reflecting a lot of things, and I would imagine that there's maybe a better utility item you can get, because the problem I have with Aghanim Scepter online is that the finger costs a lot of mana.
Right.
And you are more important for your hexes and your earth spikes and your mana drains to get rid of illusions. You can't really finger more than once in a fight anyway.
Right.
But he goes for it anyway. We'll see.
The base defense, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
They're going to need it
Assuming
now.
if you can get close enough, because now Terrorblade Shadow Demon, this is where they shine best, when you only have to siege one lane.
Absolutely. Well, Fnatic, after a very crazy couple of minutes, have been able to trim the lead down to just 7,000 net worth. I mean, if you look at the graph, though, and the way that it's developed over the past couple of minutes, regardless, it was a very, very steep old drop-off. But yeah, 25 to 22. And Fnatic trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, it was a precipitous drop, although experience is still in the favor of Fnatic. The only reason I find that even marginally relevant is just because, well, I actually Willow hit level 18 already, so she's good. And Slayer is about to hit level 18, so maybe not that important. I guess you're a little bit closer to 25s. Oh, what a finger.
Look, and there you go. He's got the mana drain.
He's frontlining. He's like, guys, don't worry about it. I'll clear the creep waves.
He's all hunky-dory. Exorcism granting haste?
Yeah, he needs that. These Shadow Demon purges are slowing him down so much through the BKB. He needs the haste.
And now, with that talent picked up, Fnatic going to move out across the map and see if they can do something. Roche is going on right now from Vega Squadron. He pops it immediately, goes in. The Lotus Orb is trying to take off the root, but he's still right there on top of him. The Terrorize comes out and forces back the rest of Envy's help. He's starting to fall down low. Can they bring him down in time? Envy trying to hide. He has the haze still running. Universe goes through as well with that Rolling Thunder and trying to take them down. The Aeondis pops, but they've got Envy under control, and now they've got the Dual Scepter lift up, but Brood's already dead. Envy's dead. 100 seconds, no buyback. GG called. Vega take game number 1.
The most prepared we've seen Vega all day. This is definitely the fight that they were ready for, and it's admirable that a 10th pick Broodmother does not be as free as what Abed could probably be capable of against other teams.
And I mean, late at night, they still got some fans out there cheering for him in the stands. But they have played a wonderful game of Dota 2 there. I mean, looking forward, like, do you think that this was intentional, the Jakiro pick? They were expecting the Brood, or do you think that that was just more a lucky happenstance for him?
I wouldn't say lucky. I would say they weren't expecting it, but they were like, I mean, this should work. We have a Jakiro, and apparently, I imagine Undershock's probably familiar with the matchup.
Right.
He's played it many times, but it worked to great success.
CIS definitely plays a lot of Broodmother as well.
And mid lane, for sure. And so them being able to withstand the laning phase, which is usually where Vega shine the best. If they lose the laning phase, I'm usually a little bit skeptical about how they carry on in the mid game, but they want it, and they converted so cleanly on all their objectives that Fnatic just were not able to play the game of Dota that they were planning.
Well, really impressive stuff. Super excited to see what happens in game number 2. It's sort of been the theme today so far that Fnatic lose the first one and then end up coming back later. So we'll see if that carries on. But we're going to head back to the panel to see what they had to think about that game number 1. We'll see you guys in a few for game number 2.
Welcome back to our panel. You can't say Fnatic didn't try. 24 hours ago, we had a long day coming into our last series, and it was an Optic Broodmother pick that saved us all from a late night with a 20-minute game in Game 1. Fnatic tried the same thing here, but Vega Squadron have the answer. Back here once again with Gods and Winter. Guys, that early laning matchup between the Jakiro and the Broodmother, really a big deal. How much did we really learn, though? Because the first blood on the Jakiro felt like it was really influential in that laning matchup.
It definitely helped, but I think overall it seems like Jakiro can actually hold the lane with the Liquefier and the Dual Breath, and once you get levels, and you'll be able to clear out the spiders, so you stop the pressure, a lot of the pressure coming out from the Broodmother. So I mean, the first blood is definitely helpful, but I think overall Jakiro can actually hold the lane.
Okay. So mid, that's not going to crumble. I mean, we still saw Brood come online, get a lot of farm, top of the net worth for most of the game, but you really want to be able to end, like you say, end the game 20 minutes. You want to do the Optic thing. You don't want to just be a top net worth Brood who's continuing to farm. You want to be a Brood that's winning the game, going high ground 20 minutes in.
I mean, we saw at DAC, it was LGD against Mineski. They picked Brood as well. It was against a Terrorblade. Brood didn't have a good start. You're never going to outscale a Terrorblade. You're just going to lose in a straight-up carry-to-carry matchup. So, I mean, that was what happened again. Like, you can't fight the Terrorblade.
Yeah, it certainly felt like Fnatic were on a timer in that game, where if it hit the 40-minute mark without them having a commanding edge, that it was going to be in trouble. I felt like also Tsunami got a little bit of indication in this game because he was talking on the panel in the last series about Vega's decision-making, their late-game poise having improved a lot. You didn't necessarily see that in the last series. The last game, of course, was impressive, but I thought in this game, their decision-making as the game going on, not knowing the Brood wasn't that far ahead, knowing they had that Terrorblade was really good.
And they kind of understood the TB, if he just got big enough, was going to win them the game. That was the key factor for them. Even their bans, their second stage bans, were all on heroes that they didn't want to verse, like the Underlord, the Doom, that could cause them problems. So they understood the win condition was TB. Let's make sure this TB has a good time.
Yep, I feel like this Pangolier pick has been maybe getting exploited by teams. You see it in a couple of the games. I feel teams that you put him in like this maybe 1v1 matchup, because Pango is like, he's not that strong in the lane at first. He is weaker without his levels, so you can't really pressure the carry unless you get like, even if the task was at top, I feel like the lane isn't that strong, you know, compared to maybe like a Task Beastmaster, Task Bat Rider.
Yeah, this is the point in the game right here in the replay that I actually started to get pretty worried for Vega Squadron, because they were doing okay in the mid lane, but as a result of kind of flubbing the gank a little bit, their supports were really underleveled, and I was concerned. The Dark Willow was like level 3 well into the game here, but they were able to catch up with some good moves on top.
I mean, this Zayat player, I'm telling you, like he had again another amazing game on the Dark Willow. He's just continuously impressing. Like he is.
I tell you what, I came into this tournament ready to talk about Palantimos, because watching their games from the qualifiers, I thought it was his decision making mid game going into late game that has really improved. But Zayat has been my player of the day. Yeah, for sure.
I think he might even be by far the best player in the event so far. Like
I think you're right.
He's been really, really good on supporting his positioning. He knows what he should be doing, like the Earth Spirit game earlier.
And it's every single game. Like that last 3-game series they played, every single game he was like the standout player in his team, it felt like, in some ways.
Yeah, really like. So that was a little bit of a suspect decision there by the Jakiro, kind of, you know, thinking that he was, Winter joked he was thinking he was a support Jakiro going first into the rush, but actually really did like the Aeon Disc build on the Jakiro as the game went on. Felt like it gave him a lot of survivability.
Yeah, but this team, I mean, right now, they're like continuously improving. Their decision making has been getting better throughout the event. So high hopes about this team right now, this Vega squad.
Agreed, absolutely agreed for their first.
They are like kind of also a last-minute replacement for this event.
For a team that they did not boot camp for this event.
Yes.
Yeah, they're looking really good today. Now, from the Fnatic side, do you feel like they had a window and they just missed it, or do you feel like once the Brood wasn't going to be snowballing, they were just kind of hosed?
They had a small window. I mean, we saw there they were taking a fight on the enemy high ground, so they had a very clear way of taking objectives using the DP ulti. They also had better catch with the Lion. I feel that's something that Vegas Lamp kind of lacked, was a way to actually get pickoffs. So I think Fnatic, if they managed to use their smokes, find some good initiations and picks with the Lion, They did have ways to win this game, but it was much harder for them to execute their draft.
DG on the line had quite a bit of farm when the game ended.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Great playing against the TB, all that free gold.
He's a support though. Like you can't expect the support to win the game. Like in a situation like this, it's more like their early game. I felt like they didn't build enough advantage to snowball over the Terrorblade and and his team. Like once the game, you look at the 20 minutes, they didn't really have that much of a net worth lead. The Brood Mother's team is in trouble.
Yeah, they managed to get like a few Roches even with the DP ult, but it wasn't really going to be enough for them.
They needed like a way bigger lead than that. Like the lanes needed to be destroyed harder. They have to like run over the towers faster. The game was like way too slow for a Brood Mother game.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Abed's Broodmother does still lead the map in kills, but because of that, ordinarily Jakiro is a hero that when he's playing on his own side of the map feels pretty lackluster and he needs to be playing on the enemy side of the map. But what I was seeing is in a lot of these fights, even though Abed was getting the kills, the Spiderlings were still dying to the dots. And without the Spiderlings, you can't convert those kills into objectives.
Yeah, and he had a lot of kills, but the hero damage actually wasn't that high for him.
Yeah,
It was only a 13k.
And look at this, 1,300 siege damage out of a Broodmother.
You look at the kills, there's a lot of these like, oh, I found the Shadow Demon with my Orchid, I'm going to kill him. It's like, his kill stats were very misleading in that game. His impact was not what you want from a Brood by any means.
You guys agree with this MVP choice here? Palantimos on
Yeah,
the Terrorblade, he does carry the game?
I mean, why not? He carried the game. He did what he had to do. He didn't get caught out. He was like playing really safe, doing like farming in places that he should be farming, doing the right things. Yeah, why not?
Yep.
Yeah, to me that's the encouraging thing, that when you see a young team, particularly out of the CIS region, typically we're talking about the flashy plays, the back and forth. This was a very workmanlike performance from this Vega Squad team.
And when you talk about teams that you want to improve and win tournaments, and when you talk about the carries are associated with one word: stable. You need to have a stable and solid carry. You don't need a flashy carry, but you need someone to get the job done. Yeah. You want the flashy player to be maybe your mid player or one of your support players.
Absolutely, very well said. Well, that is game one, guys, in the books. Already a long day of Dota, but plenty more, hopefully, to come as Vega Squadron, the upstart, last-minute replacement young CIS team here, have a 1-0 lead on the verge of making it to Sunday's semifinals. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Fnatic will try to even the series, or will it be Vega Squadron moving on? Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.